Ain't nothing worse than a smart dumb.
Hey yo! Hey yo! Hey yo! Hey
All right, welcome everybody. We are back as yet another episode of the Smart Dumb Podcast, a new season in 2023. And one of the first people I reached out to who was more than happy, more than willing to be a guest, and that's going to be great because I'm looking forward to what's about to happen. But I'd like to introduce all y'all to a glowing poet. You please you see it, it's shining right. It's not. Uh, you go ahead and introduce us. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Ambery. I go by AGlowingPoet. I am a poet, author, speaker, writer. I'm from Baltimore. I own a business called The Women I'm Becoming, which is a business and brand that I use to help women reach their full potential. And I'm just here doing the Lord's work.
Absolutely. So yeah, actually, it's always fun. Like I'm like, where are we gonna start? One of the things about you for sure is you do not hide your religion, your belief in God, in Christ. So what was that? What was that journey like? Where was that journey?
Always an ongoing journey. I started in church early on. My mother is really heavy into church, and I feel like that's always been instilled with me. But there's a difference between being in church and knowing who God is and having your own relationship with Him. So I feel like that didn't really start for me until adulthood when I hit a brick wall. And that's when I feel like I was able to not so depend on the church and what my mother taught me, but actually really seek Him for myself and just lean on Him. And that maybe started around 2016, where I can say I really started my hardcore relationship with God. And ever since, that's just like that's my support. He got me here, and I'm gonna always, no matter what I do, whatever avenue I choose, I'm gonna always pivot to Him and make sure He's in the forefront.
I like that. I like that. So speaking of avenues, I mean, we sure you have. Sure, I've read the book. I know you have. I know you have. I know you have a story. I know you have a journey, the path. So, along the things that you freely share, along the things that will never see the light of day, like where did the poetry aspect of where people see, you doing your thing consistently, but what's the origin behind that?
So I've always been a writer. That was how I expressed myself. Growing up younger, I was really shy and timid. So I wrote a lot as far as journaling, from an early age. And even with notes and stuff with friends, and my mother, she was mad at me, I'll write her a letter. But that's just how I learned to really communicate effectively, 100%. Poetry, I wrote my first poem in the 6th grade. I don't know where I found poetry at or where my brain went with that, but I do remember that was my first poem. And since then, and throughout middle school and high school, I kept little books, spiral books of just poems that I wrote daily. And let's see. Throughout college, I think college is when it kind of stopped, because I was always writing poetry throughout school. College, I thought I was grown and was doing my own thing. So that was kind of put on pause until maybe 3 years after graduating, when I was in a rough patch. And since writing was the first way of me releasing, I kind of went back to it. And that's what started, I guess, the write-up for the book. When it comes to the book, I had no intentions of writing a book ever. But I feel like once I got in a really like deep hole with life in general, I started reading like self-help books and like people's stories, and that really like helped me heal. And that's when I had a little voice of writing my own book, but I kept brushing it off for years and years, and then it got to the point where I couldn't fight it anymore. I would everywhere I would go, it would be like something that's telling me to write a book or a person or anything. So one day I just got serious and I sat down and I didn't know what I was going to do. I just took all of the poems that I had in my possession from early on, teenage years, high school, adulthood, therapy sessions, exercises, and just read everything, and it flowed into a story. So I sat down and put everything in order, and that was the book.
Nice, very nice. Now, what? So the book actually came out when?
So 20, I always get it confused. 2020.
2020. Okay, the book came out. Okay, but your company is preceding that, I believe.
Say that again.
I said that was your company before that, or right? That
Oh,
was all.
yeah, because I
Okay,
was selling t-shirts before that.
I got you. Okay. So that was the origin, right? So yeah, speak. So the origin. What made you, where the name come from? Like, yeah, what? So church was like the first thing, or like church was the first way you were selling. Um,
So again, I had no intentions of doing a company or shirts or anything like that. I wrote a poem in 2018, The Woman I'm Becoming, for Women's Day. And I didn't do any, I posted it on Facebook and just let it sit there. So when it came time, I don't know, I was just in a weird place where I wanted to do something. Like I didn't know what it was. I prayed, and then I heard The Woman I'm Becoming. This was like maybe like a year and a half later. So I went into my notes section in my phone and I typed The Woman I'm Becoming, and that was the poem that I wrote like a year before that. So I took like 4 lines of the end of the poem and I just had a thought, t-shirts. So here's one. So that's what I did. I brainstormed, got someone to design it, and just took the four quotes and then turned it into a company and t-shirts, and that's how it started.
okay. All right, very nice. So yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Is like, you weren't planning to do the book, you weren't planning to make a company, you weren't planning to do shirts. What was you planning to do? It sounded like you were it sounded like you were just, like waiting for the sign, but like was it one of those like I was heading this way and he's like, nah,
No, I was just chilling. I just felt a little emptiness. I'm like, I feel like I should be doing something. Like, it's I need to be doing something.
all
So
right.
I just waited, and I heard God's voice and was obedient.
Got you. Okay, no, because there was no shade at all. I'm talking about like, the whole like that one saying God is laughing at your plans. So it's like sometimes, oh, I thought I was gonna be this and be that and be that, and here I am, over here. So no, that's no. Like, much respect for that. That book is amazing. Like it was
Oh,
amazing. Like for real, but you remember it was probably late August or September, and I had probably read like 3 poems, and I'm like, okay, like I had to let you know, like, oh, this is what you're doing. Okay, so
yeah.
yeah, no, that book is definitely incredible. So what you're saying, as far as like the material, so to speak, for this was like everything, like everything from going back years and different forms of
Yeah. The book was probably like 85% written already
mm,
before I actually sat down and added anything else. It was there. So I can't deny that was God's doing, because I didn't know anything about writing a book. I had no intentions. That wasn't me. Like if it was up to me, I wouldn't have written it. But it was such an easy process. Like it just was too smooth. Like it was too smooth.
okay. Now, did it end up being fully self-published?
Self-published
Okay,
altogether.
okay. I know and it's funny, like shout out to Nerd, because some I y'all had some of this conversation, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna re-ask some of those questions. I know. Are you already working on a second one?
I am, yes.
Okay. Now, as far as the process, do you still plan to self-publish again? Is there anything about this route that it changed?
I think I am gonna do it again. I like the idea of being hands-on with everything. I get to see all the sales. I get to, see all the money coming in. It's all coming to me, and
Right.
I I like that. Maybe later down the road, I might try to do a company, but I like being hands-on, seeing everything, seeing the numbers and stuff.
Right. Right. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So, what do you feel like for somebody that is not quite? I mean, okay. So the beauty of your book, The Woman I'm Becoming, gives you something to go off of. Like, okay, I have some kind of idea of what she's saying, but how would you summarize if it's not just that? Like, what is somebody going to get out of your book?
If they didn't see the title.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. No, I mean, and if that's it, right? Like, if that's it, that's fine.
I think just a journey of what women go through. There's a range, and I want to know your opinion too, from like a man's point of view reading, because I've heard some men said they could relate to some things in there. But life is a journey.
Yeah.
So I look at it, the book is written up, it's set up as like a journey where there's different paths. There might be times where we get tired and we stop and we can't move, but the point is to keep going and keep growing in it. So I think that's what was about. Life is a journey, but you keep going.
Right.
Um,
Right.
no matter what you're hit with, no matter how many times you stop, no matter how many different routes you take, just keep going.
Right. Right. And so, yeah, sure. More than I guess you would maybe assume that a larger percentage of the book is going to reach another black woman, another woman. But absolutely, there was plenty of it that resonated with me. I think what I really appreciated is it wasn't a victim mentality. It was this is what has happened. But on the negative side, the challenging thing, these are what I have accomplished to date. But like the conclusion of it is most definitely, you're becoming this who you're becoming, and this is where you're continuing to go. It's like it had a very optimistic, like determined conclusion. Like, let's see where the future, let's see where God is going to take you, type of energy. So yeah, no, I just appreciate it doesn't matter what the gender or age, the people who are able to, there's power in and not keeping yourself in a shell and like revealing that story, being a blessing to somebody else, getting that off of getting that weight off of yourself to help, propel to what else is going. So
Yeah.
that was really good. So now with that, what is the general idea of, this second book you have coming? You have a title for it already, and if not, like what is
I do. So
you don't have to say.
it's definitely different. I'm gonna keep it a secret. It's
Okay.
definitely different from the first book, so I'm like super, super excited for that one, but it's not gender specific. So this time the men have their own chapter. Um, that's all I'm saying. I'm very, very excited about it though. I did take some, of course, things have happened, things that I've learned and experienced, and other people around me too. The book is not just about my personal experiences too. So that's what I'm excited about because I think it's going to reach even a larger audience. So it's a lot of different things in the book
All right.
with, with one goal.
Okay. I like the teaser, right?
Mm.
Just drop a little breadcrumbs. Okay. Now, do you have some kind of target date yet, or is just
I've been having dates set and it comes and it goes. So I'm just going with the flow for right now.
there it is? There it is.
I would like to say um end of this year, early next year maybe.
Okay.
Um, but we'll see.
We'll see. We will see. We will see. All right, good deal, good deal. So now, besides already a published author, which I respect all y'all because that's its own journey. Second one on the way, but like I met you as a performing artist, as a spoken word artist. So when did you first, I mean, you wrote your first poem in sixth grade. Like when did you, first say, I'm gonna say my poem to other people? You know what I mean? Like something a lot of people are afraid, deathly afraid to do.
Again, that was not in my agenda. So I got into like seeing other people like watching it, probably a little bit before the pandemic. Um, and I became like I admired like Maui and Kara was like the first like poets like I followed, and I was just like amazed by how they like presented themselves in their poetry. And I'm like, oh my God, like what if I did that? And I'm like, I can never do something like that. I like me in public speaking, do not, but like no, me in public speaking never. So I made it a goal. One of my vision boards is to actually try it. This was, I want to say 2021 after the book was out. And I didn't know when I was going to do it, how I was going to do it, but I met Nerd actually at the Poets Life Fest. And he gave me his card and he was like, I have open mic, you should come through. And I'm looking at the card like, I ain't about to do that. So, I kept the card. I followed him on social media. And then soon after he asked me if I wanted to feature, and I'm just like, boy, I don't know what I'm doing. But that I was like freaking out. Like I was so scared. But that feature was like actually my first time ever doing spoken word in front of people. But that's why I will always support and rock with Nerd because I feel like he's the one that like pulled me out there, because if he didn't, I probably still would be like, no. But
You're right.
yeah, it was just something that I wanted to try, not like a goal or anything. I just wanted to try it, and I had no intention of it being what it is now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm gonna correct you. I don't know if you were saying, but you said you in public speaking didn't get along because
Yeah,
you all the way in there now. Like you are
like,
solid. Nobody. It's for like you're the type that like a lot of people don't realize that we still get quite nervous when we come
yeah,
on these stages. But like your demeanor, people probably wouldn't know.
that's
People
crazy.
probably like the way you act.
I be shaking.
Right. Nah, the voice don't be shaking. The message definitely don't be shaky at all. So that actually brought me back to remind because one of the highlights of watching you do your thing, besides Nerd and the amazing interview y'all had at his event, Evening with Authors, was when I got the feature and you came through the support at Poets for Dinner, and you uh, basically stole the show. Like that poem was just big. It captured the room for that time. So what are one, two, maybe even three poems that you realize like, oh, these are the ones that the women or whoever usually gravitate to?
Hmm. So what is it? I'm so proud of you, which is talking about like healing after a breakup.
Mhm.
Um, Definitely that one. Um, what is it? What do you have to offer besides PUSSY? That's a personal favorite of mine. Um, and I think maybe the new one, and just for not just women but men too, leadership, especially artists, because I feel like we all go through those moments where we're like comparing and like being hard on ourselves. So I think that's the newish poem where I feel like people are like really gravitate to it.
Right, right, right. Because I mean, yeah, take some time real quick. Shout out the Artist Network, Steph Reed, Nerds, and that. A lot of artists. If I tried to name all of them, we wouldn't get through the episode. Um, what is what I like about us is it's just a large group of highly, supportive people. But like because there's so much talent there, it's very likely that someone, whether they admit it or not, has had that. Okay, they just did that. That got posted here. They just, I heard them say that line. Dang, do I have anything? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like you need to. It's not about. It's not about that. It's about all of us kind of reaching in and telling each of our stories. And I mean, like I said, for the most part, once we get outside of our own hesitation, like the
Mhm.
next person is highly encouraging, and it's rare to find. Everybody don't have, a group of support like that or whatever. So
Yeah.
we're pretty fortunate with that one. What some of the immediate, your immediate plans? Like what's as the summer's approaching at the end of the year, besides you coming out giving us the book October, what else is
I don't know. I'm normally like the hands-on planner, like have everything, have my whole year planned out. But I think I'm really just in a season of surrendering and really just flowing with the wind.
mhm.
So I don't know. I really don't know. I think this is the first time in my life where I'm just going with the wind.
So how'd you get there? That's big. Like that's probably somebody probably kind of panic attack. Like what? Just no. You know what
Yeah, because that is not me at all.
I
I
mean?
think I just realized me trying to control so much in my life has been nothing but stressing to me, and I am just tired of being stressed. So I think I'm just like, okay, God, you got it. With every pocket of my life, career, relationship, friends, family, you got it. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I don't want no say so. I just want to go where God want me to go, and want me to do what He want me to do because I'm tired of being stressed. So that's where I'm at.
Right. And I feel like that was the trap. It was like, you were saying I want to be in control of my life, but when you dig deeper, it was like that's not me. Person is not me. This opportunity is not me. This job, that's going to be
Yeah.
the job is not me. So it's like really you were trying to control things that were not in your control. So
Mhm. Yeah.
um and so there's one big step is the people who have that awareness. It's a whole nother thing that actually change behavior. Changing behavior is not easy. So
Definitely not.
you know what I mean, right? It's like actually I know. So like, absolutely that's admirable. That's admirable because it is it's kind of like it's like the arts. This is something everybody can't do.
Hmm.
So that's definitely good. Yeah, uh, I'm so glad. Like while you was bringing that up, that reminded me. I just talked to you a couple days ago. You now I want to hear like I want to dig deep into this poem. Specifically on mental health that you shared this month, and again, like I don't know. Like I can be wordy, and then some of y'all leave me with no words. It's crazy, and and that poem was one of those moments. So like, was this? I know it got released at least to me. This last few days. Is this a new poem?
This is a new piece.
Okay,
Fairly.
okay,
Hmm.
okay. So I think the post, although I think the post kind of talked about how we got here, but if you don't mind, like how how did you end up getting to like get to
Writing
the
that.
pen and the typewriter, and this is what you ended keyboard. I'm so old, and this is what you have for us.
So the poem was probably literally like 6 weeks ago. I just reached a point where mentally I was just having a breakdown moment. Um, which are the breakdown moments aren't as frequently, but they're not new to me.
Mhm.
And I think this one made me realize that I probably need a little bit more help mentally getting myself back on
Mm,
track, feeling okay. So in the poem, I write about my feelings towards taking antidepressants.
mm,
And I wrote that poem the first night I took my first dose. Um, and I couldn't sleep, and I was just like wrestling with the idea. around this time last year, actually, I was having like another like depressive moment, where it was recommended to me that I take the antidepressants, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, I had that stigma in me. I never really understood why people had to reach that point to take them, and I'm just like, no, like I'm gonna do XYZ, like I'll be fine, dismissing it. And I feel like this point in my life, I had to realize that it's okay
Mhm.
if I need extra help, it's okay. So I was struggling with that for a while, and even with like putting into words and like trying to explain to like my close, people around me how I felt, I couldn't really get the words out. So I think that poem right there was just like really me releasing with like all the built up stuff and how I was feeling, because that's how I learned to express myself on paper. So that was how I was able to express myself. And I even, had to show a couple of people that are like really close to me that, are helping me deal with the poem, so they can like really understand
Mm.
what it is that's
Okay.
going on. So that was just me releasing. And I felt like when I do that, especially when I release it into the world, it helps me heal. And I was like freaking out when I posted the poem. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm about to delete it. Like I can't. And then I'm like, I have to remind myself that the things that I go through, they're not for me. They are for, to help get other people through. And I've like witnessed that with like other projects and blogs and books. So I knew that it was God telling me to do it because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to post.
Mhm.
So I knew it didn't come from like an ego place
Right.
or trying to get,
Right.
sympathy. Like,
Right.
I need you to do this. And I'm just like, you sure?
Right.
But it's out there. And, my goal is just to get the stigma on mental health out. And if anyone was in my position where they're like battling, um, getting help or not, and, staying to themselves and not expressing themselves, I'm just here to help and do the
Right.
work.
Right. Well, nah, I mean, it wasn't like I agree with you as far as like it wasn't an ego move. I wasn't, oh, I'm trying to go viral this something, but it was still for you. It definitely blessed others. And then again, if I come back to January and like how many people, I think we stopped the show for them to really like give you your flowers on the phone. Like I don't like, and I said that on both sides. I said I'm so glad I don't have like an ego and pride. Like this is because there was a lot of amazing talent and moments all that evening, and yeah, you were definitely one of those moments. Now, I there were a couple kind of branch out questions I had based on the poem. One of them is so do you tend to write or like are you in the phone? Like what is your are you kind of 50-50 or nice balance?
I'm kind of both, more so on the phone though.
Okay.
More so on the phone. Yeah.
All right. Because no, I like literally. That's not true. I went to a artist retreat and wrote like an exercise, but like every poem is it's on a phone or is literally on a computer. Like I've always and I've it's weird. It's interesting because I'm at the point I've been given books like writing books. I'm just like just
Yeah,
as
it's
inspired.
convenient. It's convenient.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it doesn't help, my tech background is super convenient, you know what I mean? So now as far as the medication, I definitely appreciate like that, when y'all catch this phone, go catch this phone. Um, are we gonna hear from you or are you just we just gonna play to it? Where you at with that one?
Huh?
That's
Wait, I missed that.
I said, are we going to hear it from you or are we just saying go to the
Hear from what?
hear it? Are we going to hear the poem from you, person
Oh,
who says poems?
oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm like, stop playing with me.
Okay. I can say you want me to spit it
You
right
do it.
now.
It's completely up to you. But if you go do it, yes.
Okay, all right, I do. Let me pull it up. This is my first time doing it in front of somebody, so
Oh, wow.
I get my first poem jitter. So I'm gonna pull
All
it up
right.
in case I forget the words.
All right. I'm going mute for sure. If I got to turn the video, like whatever's going to make you comfortable, you
Oh,
set
I'm
the
sorry.
tone. All right.
I'm getting desperate. One dose of antidepressant for breakfast, also I can exit from this cycle that my mind keeps me trapped in. Betrayed by my own brain. There's a war going on in my head, and I don't have any weapons or position. I just know that I'm losing, and my last resort is prescription. That's why when you ask me what's wrong, it's hard for me to explain. That's why when you tell me my life is good and I should be happy, I look at you like you're the one that's insane. Something is off between the layers of my membrane. Happiness is not something I've ever been able to maintain. Low serotonin keeps me chained to my bed, but luckily that's the safest place I have outside of my head. It's spiral season again, where I don't eat or sleep, just cry and think consistently and pretend I'm okay when I show up for plans are already made and call out of work when faking it is too hard on certain days. Chemical imbalance, so my work life is never balanced. There's nothing anyone can do to make me step out of it, so I isolate and silence the embarrassment of me needing assistance to regulate a mood switch. The disbelief of me needing an aid to quiet down my own brain, my body seems to be working against me. My advocacy for self-love has been drowned by self-pity, how quickly I forget how strong I really am. How quickly I'm reminded of how weak I can physically and mentally get. High functioning anxiety is something I've trained myself to wear beautifully, but some days I can't hide the depression in my eyes. I wonder if the people closest to me see it clearly. Scared to open up about it because I don't think many people will get me. I mean, I'm there for everybody, but it seems like the moment I get quiet, nobody can feel the heaviness I'm hiding. But at least I have God, right? Where is He in all of this? How am I supposed to continue to walk in my purpose when the devil gets a hold of my mind and controls what goes in it? I wonder if it's genetics or the devil's tactic to keep me stagnant. It's like the more God uses me, the deeper my depression gets. And the better my life gets, the more anxiety I get hit with. I scream out to Him in pain. But if the only access to peace is through Him, how do I obtain it if I can't even hear Him? I know He has His hand on me because I'm still here. So maybe my thoughts are just too loud, or maybe there's too many of them to identify which ones are coming from Him. Sadness has came to visit me more in the morning than joy has. Frustration has sat with me more than company has. When I'm talking to God, sometimes it feels like He's taking a little too long to respond back, so I'm getting desperate. One dose of antidepressant for breakfast, also I can be content. I'm over trying to be happy. I just want to know what it feels like to not constantly worry and finally be at peace with how God is writing my story. Too focused on how things used to be. Too worried about how things are going to be. Uncomfortable with where God has me currently, so I'm getting desperate. One dose of antidepressant for breakfast, also I can be fully present. I did it. What I'm missing?
Wow. And first of all, I appreciate that, like for real, because you would have said no, and I'd be like, all right, you know
I
what I'm
know.
saying? Like,
But yeah, of course.
like okay, y'all go. It's by the way, and when she does share her information, definitely still go, because now people are going to get the opportunity to see it in print, and whatever that voice is for them, but also hear this version of your delivery of it. And speaking of that, how did you do you remember when you settled into your delivery? Because your delivery is definitely like that's a glowing poet. That's her.
I don't know. I feel like I'm still getting settled.
Mm,
I think it comes from watching, and I hate like listening to my voice, like playback in videos, but I think that's something I had to get comfortable with so I could
yeah.
critique myself. Um, and also like watching other poets when I go places and they have like strong delivery. I think that motivates me and pushes me to practice harder. But I think I'm still kind of motivated.
Yeah. That's what's scary, but like I don't know, scary for this was awesome, amazing for me is like, oh, this is like we're not even peak, we're nowhere near peak, as
Yeah.
far as seeing where you at. And it's like good. Good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to more for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely the delivery. Like I said, it seems like from what I remember, like a lot of the, especially the popular ones, your favorites. It's like that first line is like it's almost like if y'all was talking, like whatever the case was, you was ordering something, you was rude for the other poet. Go ahead, shut up real quick. I got something. Like they're like, oh. Like is that intentional? Do you try to go like, let that first line set the tone?
So, maybe I don't know. I haven't thought about it like that.
Hmm, okay.
But
Yeah.
I do write with the intention of like the first couple lines being like
With the attention, yeah.
to wrap it in, because I know for me I got a short attention span, so if I'm like seeing videos or I'm in person, I need you to capture me with like 5 seconds. That's all you
Right.
got. So I
Yep.
try the same for me too.
I feel you. I feel you. So it sounds like that's also like if the immediate if the idea doesn't lead to an immediate like amazing point, like nah, this might not be it yet.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, and then it also sounds so again, you had you gave some credit to some of the other, I guess, particularly female poets that first started seeing. Like, is that kind of their style too, or is that did you see that them, or is again more like
Um, in a way, yeah, definitely Kara, I would say.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
definitely her.
mhm.
So yeah.
Okay. Now that's yeah, because yeah, Kara is good for giving you that one like oh, so you are definitely an amazing writer. Like they just saw that, they just heard that office. So like when you're going, by the time 3-4 minutes of a poem hits, it's at least three of those. So do you ever like you're writing, you ever stop yourself like, okay. You ever like are you kind of comfortable with it, or you stopping and like, okay.
I do. I'll be like, dang, like, where'd that come from? Because I always say, like, when I like read stuff, when I like really get captured by it, I'm like, that ain't me. Like, that ain't me. I'm like, God, that's you. Like, God be right
Mhm,
from. I just do a
mhm.
little twist and a little, ratchetness on it a little bit, but it really be him. It don't be me.
Right, right, right. But and I like not only do I like how comfortable that you are with that balance, but even you and your mom's interactions be like she be right, she be the one recording some of this that's why you wild and it's like I like that because we can get a little bit too stiff on the Christianity side of things. And it's like I mean, some people really do have this I'm just everything is neat and lined up, and I'm not hating on them, but that's not me. And I think the best thing I did for me, right, is like is the genuine. If I was just trying to like, oh, like I shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that, like no, like those are my human side, those are my flawed side of things. So then when you see the goodness, like take that seriously too. That was genuine too. And I think that's one of the things I've been able to respect from you from day one is like it's always been authentic.
Thank you.
Yeah. But that's what I'm excited about. So we're gonna look and see like, August hit. October hit, that blank that you have for the episode, like I don't know, we're gonna wait and see. I'm looking forward to what that is. It looked like you are too a little bit.
I am. I'm really excited. It's gonna be a book release.
Yeah.
It'll be Eventbrite situation.
Okay.
So it's
Very
coming.
nice. Very nice. So what do you what do you think of like right this moment? You gonna wait till like the day of and it's gonna be like a baby reveal with the name, or like are you gonna give us the name of the book at some point before?
I mean, I've said it
Okay.
already.
Oh,
So
okay. There it is.
it already, it's been in some captions, so it's little hints.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I feel like it's even hints in the poems that I do, like an
Yeah.
overall theme. But I think I'm gonna release the book. No, I'm not gonna release the book. I'll release like the title and stuff once everything is complete, and then I'll
Okay.
have an option to get tickets for the book release. So you can get the
Yeah.
book first. But it's gonna
Yeah.
be a whole shebang. Like I gotta plan out my head. I just gotta finish the book.
Right. Okay. And as far as like the event situation, like you already have the idea, or you were like even
Mhm.
already
I got
secured on it. Okay.
planned out in my head. We gonna have
So
some
like,
farmers,
yeah,
gonna be a whole shebang. Gonna be a show.
nice. Okay. All right. I think the one, yeah, that was one I almost lost is like you, I mean, did you already kind of, you already like when you have finished this writing, you knew like, okay, now this is going to also have to be performed, or do you tend to like along the way of writing just start the process of the memorization?
Hmm. Um, I never write with the intention of it's going to be performed or
Okay.
not. I think I decide after because I do have a lot of poems that I'm not probably going to ever recite.
Right.
Um, but I think it just depends on what the topic is, what it is, and I don't know because I'm really funny about that because I've read some poetry books from other people that I didn't hear them say, and I feel like it only fits in a book. Even with my book, I've never recited any poems from like the first book, like none. Um, and I feel like those books are for the book and not to. I
Mm.
don't know. I don't know. For me, I feel like there are some pieces can be in a book and be recited, and I feel like there's some that just stand out more in a book.
Right. No, that
So
makes sense. Yeah.
it just depends. It depends on the topic and how long it is and how I feel personally about it. That's how I base it off of.
Okay. No, I 100% agree. That yeah, some poems read better. Some poems like you need to hear. Sometimes you have a poem that both is gonna work out. I'm just saying that's one of them. But like, I think that was interesting. So none of them like you don't plan to. Wow. Okay. So these are-
Probably read like maybe like a couple, like, and that was like my first feature. I read a couple out of it, but I have some memorized, but I never did them in front of people.
okay.
But this book,
Okay.
yeah, it's different. This book is definitely different, way different than the first one. So
I got
this
you.
book is a different story.
I got you. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, no, that's also, amazing is like, and I think truly when I'm sure you're enjoying the process, but even when you're completely finished and now you're looking back as you start to write your third book next year, and you're and you're like, okay, this book, was under these circumstances, it served this purpose. It was these emotions from me that other people also got. And in this book, at this process, more of them are performance pieces and et cetera. Like, I'm sure you're gonna truly enjoy, the compare and the contrast, and even like the times, where you were in your life when one came out versus the other one.
Yeah,
You know, I
definitely.
think yeah, that's what's beautiful. And I mean, that's what's good about, there are some good things about the social media age. Like, because we record more, we get more of these moments or whatever. So, like, the books have always done that. They're like capture moments in time. But now you're going to get to do that both, with books, with posts on social media, with video. Like, there's going to be a lot to look back on. And that's just in the past 3 years.
Yeah.
You have plenty that you accomplished prior to that, and sure, plenty of messages, a lot that God has for you to share, um, for the people going forward. So definitely, I'm personally, I'm an unashamed fan. Like the Voice and the Power post, like there's no cap for real. Like y'all know I say what I mean. So like, you really are like one of my favorites among a group of really, really dope people. So I'm just, the more you keep doing. I'm here for it, and I appreciate your support too. You're just another one of those spirits that like keep everybody else uplifted. So I appreciate that. The so like the one or the times that you don't that you can't step out, like you're good. Like you've shown more support in like a 2 month span than some people in a lifetime. So like when you need your break, take your break. You're
Yeah,
good.
I try, and I try not to be hard on myself. But I was really sad that I did not come the past weekend. But I'm real big on support because I appreciate those who support me too. So I always want to make sure I'm reciprocating the energy.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, because it's not an accident. Like the individuals, like yourself, myself, nerd, art. I can't name all y'all. Shout out to the Artist Network. Y'all know who y'all are, and even whether you have a crew or not, or whatever the case is. Y'all people know who you are. You attract the same type of energy, because that's what y'all give out, and it's been. I guess we've all been living long enough to see that as proven. Like you give, you give what you put out, you receive what you put out. The golden rule and all that. It's like you've had our moments. I also know we've all had our moments, like somebody took advantage of us and all that. But like in the long run, it it turns it, it works itself out. With us focusing on ours, the revenge thing, that's a whole different. Like I know what my experience to be, but overall, like the most has been done with accomplishing and growing and building. So yeah, definitely looking forward to again what you had left. So in the meantime, where can the people go to find what you currently have?
My Instagram is a glowing poet. My website is the woman I am becoming. I have a link tree on my Instagram with a lot of different links, with interviews and all of that jazz, and merchandise and the book. So yeah.
Right. Very good. Very good. Yeah, don't start with my little conversation. Like she's got plenty more. The art, of course, the other interviews and things like that. Support our artists. She got merch out there. Y'all support that. Get yourself in some go. How many colors that shirt got, for example?
We got 3
Okay.
right now.
All right, very
Mhm.
good, very good. There you go. Y'all heard that right now. So then you get on the message. You buy one first because we don't want to just complain all the time. You buy one first, and you say, "Hey, this would be nice if you." And then now, now they know. Now they know I make this. The people are asking for it. So how we
Yeah.
doing? We support. We support. Absolutely. Well, hey, Ambry, I really appreciate your time. Definitely looking forward to said projects coming in the future, including the third book coming out next year. I like that. See, that's how it works. Like you say things, you manifest them, and they become reality.
Speak
Yeah.
it.
I like, and you like. I mean, okay, right? It's not. If I said recite the fourth poem from your first book, you'd be like, no. I say your third book coming out next year, you like, let's see.
I mean,
It's a
listen, because
difference.
I'm already brainstorming, so if the wind blow that way, I'm gonna blow with
Right.
it.
That's what's gonna happen. No, I hear you. I hear that. I hear that. All right. Well, absolutely. Yes. Once again, Ambry, a glowing poet, thewomanI'mbecoming.com. Like support all these things, men and the women. Let's keep these arts, Baltimore, DMV area, Maryland. Keep pushing one of your own. All right. Thank you very much. This is another episode of the Smart Dumb Podcast. Have a great evening.